So this is a 1990 GMC 1500 Sierra Chevrolet, and what it's got going on, it's got a little bit of overfueling. It's running like pig rich all of a sudden while driving it, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with it. It's got a Megasquirt 2 custom EFI for this particular truck, and that's because the engine is not stock. I mean, it's damn near stock, but not stock. It's a little bored over. It's got MSD. It's got MSD ignition on it. It's got a Jam Performance intake. It's got the Vortec heads. It's got some headers that are rusted as shit around the flanges, but that's not a big deal. It's whatever. MSD wires. Let's see what else. Of course, the intake. And so our main thing we're looking at here is this GM TBI throttle body. It's the version that is has two injectors in it, just two injectors. It's a Rochester. This particular one has one of the Holley spacers on it. I think it's Holley. It might be something else. I don't know. It's probably some no-name Japanese or Chinese thing. Anyways, that's the throttle body model, made in USA. Anyways, that is the throttle body itself. That's what part number it is, in case you're wondering if this compares to yours. Anyways, fairly stock. Obviously it's got the EFI system in it. I'm the one that put the EFI in it, so if anything is wrong with this, then it is my fault. So this is what we got, what we're working with, and let's see what we got. Hello. Okay, so here's what I got going on. You'll notice, kind of a glare, sorry. Throttle position sensor, went to calibrate it on the Megasquirt 2. Cool. And it acted kind of weird, so I went and looked at it, and when you step on the throttle, so that's supposed to be 100%. It sweeps nicely, right? Well, if I can get it to do it again. I got a video of it sticking, so I'll just throw that in there, but a little sticky. What it's doing is it's sticking. So earlier I was hitting the throttle, it would just sit there and do this, and then creep, 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 and then it would just click back over. But you see how that's just burbling around there? It's probably like right on the edge of one of those little fingers that change the voltage count. So there's probably some stiction in the throttle cable itself, and that's normal, but it should return to the same spot every single time. So I'm just going to give it some throttle. Oh, different value. Oh, about the same. Now we got plus 0.2. Spin the wheel. Negative 1.2. Spin the wheel. 0.09. 0.9, I mean. Negative 1.12%. I mean, let's just go all the way to the floor and let it go. 1.2. All the way to the floor, let it go. 1.2. So obviously we don't drive full, foot to the floor everywhere. We're looking at like pull away and then let off. 0.9. Pull away. Okay, we're accelerating highway speed. Let off. 0.9. So sometimes it's consistent, sometimes it's not. What the problem is, okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the throttle position sensor, and it's on the looking at the car left side of the TBI. This is your top of your TBI, and this stupid gasket here is makeshift. Ignore that. Anyways, so this is your throttle position sensor, and how it works is inside there's a bunch of little rows of copper, and this arm here is attached to a sweep on the inside which goes across, and it changes resistance, and it'll actually change what it's seeing. I can't remember if it's resistance or voltage, but one or the other. Anyways, the concept is it sees a difference between this position and this position, and anywhere between those two positions is your throttle sweep, or how much throttle you actually have. So what's happening there is you open the throttle and it'll stick, and you can kind of feel it. You're not going to be able to see it on the video, fat fingers in there, but it's not sweeping very smoothly, and it's not doing it anymore because I've been out fiddle fucking with it, but it was sticking earlier, and I'll show you saw that in the video a little bit, the clip earlier. But so this is interesting, getting a lot of corrosion or rust on these bolts, and so this is aluminum, and these are probably steel or something, and they got quite a bit of rust on them. Definitely gonna have to do something about that too. While we're here, let's just go ahead and make sure that these are in the right spot. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the connector off of it. Please don't break. Please don't break. Ugh. No, I don't have to worry about it breaking. It's already broke. Okay. Anyways, take a look down inside here. Let's see. I don't see any corrosion. Maybe. No, it's just the light green down there messing stuff up. So another word of caution here is these old trucks, they've had so many miles on them and so much heat in here that these little tabbies like to break off if you're not careful with them. And in the past, either I was careless or somebody else was a little overly rough, had a lot of oomph behind it that probably shouldn't have been there. But so on the list tomorrow is to go get one of these throttle position sensors. Hopefully that'll correct some of the overfueling issues that I've been having while driving it. Why it is kind of important for your computer to know where your foot is on the gas, and what that's going to relate to is how much it fuels the car. And it's pretty crucial that that's, somewhat accurate. If you step on the throttle or you're cruising down the road and you let go of it, the throttle body's butterflies in here snap closed, but this little bastard stays open like that, and the computer's like, well, you're still cruising along at 30-40% throttle or whatever this happens to relate to. So it's going to be dumping fuel like crazy down the intake, right on top of those closed butterflies, and not so great. There are other things in there that are controlling this. Like this is not the only thing. It's also going by the manifold air pressure, how much vacuum it's got, and it's doing those calculations as well. So it's not necessarily redundant, but it's all part of the equation that goes into it. So anyways, there you be. Learned are you. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment or go to my blog, Waxy Works with a Z, WAXXY, WERKZ.com. I'll be happy to answer them or try to answer them or what have you. Thanks.